Dalton, I know you got some fucking juicy trades for us, juicier than a watermelon on a Sunday in the middle of June. I don't know. It's my birthday in June. Watermelon sounds good. What do you got for us, buddy?
All right. So I'll start with a local trade, a nice Timberwolves trade that I know you love. So this one, I actually really like this trade. So the Timberwolves are giving up Taurean Prince, Josh Okogie, and Bolmero, and they're getting back Josh Hart in a second from the Pelicans. I like it on both sides. I mean, so like, what do the Pelicans get back? They get back a better defender in Josh Okogie, but he's strictly just defending. Get a little more defense in there, and they get a Bolmero, and they're on a different timeline. It looks like they can pull in this guy, develop him a little bit more. Has had a really disappointing season, so have an extra guy come in. I mean, Taurean Prince is just cap filler, but he's off. They get off Hart's salary 2 years early, so.
It's an interesting one. Speaking on the Wolves' behalf, Josh Hart would be a nice player to grab. I don't know if I want to give up both Okogie and Bolmero in the same trade, seeing that they're both a couple of trade chips. I mean, Okogie should probably get traded no matter what. Taurean Prince, for his salary, I'm willing to get rid of him for anything.
Well, I mean, he's off this year. It'd be a shame to just let his contract run out while they have $19 million on the books because they're capped out, So it's just missing an opportunity for a trade if they let him go.
Yeah, at the very least, you use him in a second round pick, or like you said, you attach Kogi to it and maybe get a solid player like Josh Hart. But it's just adding a guy like Bolmero, who's a good project, to that is a little tough for me. I'd like to get maybe someone better than Josh Hart. But at least he is signed. He just did sign a contract, so it's almost worth it for that, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, if I were the Timberwolves, I'd pull this trigger right away when I look at it. But it's the Pelicans that I see it hanging up on. I mean, what are you really getting back? It's just two young stars, two young guys. One's just a solid, has his role, just perimeter defending. You need somebody defended. Get out there and do it. But no offensive ability. And Bolmero's
going to give you offense.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Taurean Prince is nothing for them. He's just salary filler, and to really make up for what they're losing, and already a solid player in Josh Hart, Bolmero. I mean, it really depends what they think of him. Do they see that possible potential, or do they not? I mean, it could really go either way.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'd like to see the Wolves get someone better than Josh Hart, but I'm fine with it if that is someone we can grab still. So,
yeah, I think if Hart's added to it, that team's they're significantly better. They get a guy who can, because all they have is either guys who are offense or defense to fill that 2 spot. And if he comes in, he can start. He'll be their defensive too. He can hit threes now. He's great. I think he'll be a perfect fit with them.
We'll see, man. What other offers you got here? I know you got some more.
So this one's this one's not as much of a role player. Well, it's trading 2 role players, but it's just kind of an interesting that I thought of it. So the Lakers give up Russell Westbrook, and the Cavs give up Rubio and Love. Let's just swap those 2 for 1.
So Rubio's out with a torn ACL.
Oh, yeah, really? For the rest of the year? I didn't even see that. I didn't pay attention. But either way, then they get Kevin Love. I guess that kind of actually tears apart this, right? Because Rubio only has 1 year. Yeah. Never mind. Just fuck that. I didn't even pay attention to that. I looked up literally every other player's injury report for this, and I was like, except for Rubio's. I just assumed. My bad.
No, man, my boy Rubio, that's ruled to hear.
Yeah, in theory, I thought it would be a decent trade because the Lakers get back a starting caliber point guard. I mean, he can start, assuming all that talent's around them. They get a guy in Kevin Love back shooting, makes up for.
No, you would have been able to sell me on it if there was no torn ACL.
And Cavs get more star power, which they'll need to propel them through the playoffs. Which right now I don't see them going deep in the playoffs. They're a great team; they work well. I just don't see enough star power with the team they have. There you go.
My boy Evan Mobley's a star. The fuck are you talking about?
He's not to that star potential yet. I mean, he's gonna get there, no doubt. But I don't know if he can carry them in a playoff team.
LeBron. He's the next LeBron.
He's the next LeBron.
What's the next one? Well, you got another trade?
Yeah, let's just go to the next one. All right, so the Spurs get John Collins, and the Hawks get Thaddeus Young, Doug McDermott, and a top 5 2024 first round pick.
For
So the
John Collins?
Yeah, John Collins. So Thaddeus Young, they get a rotational defender, they get a rotational shooter like Doug McDermott. Obviously, can do a little more than Kevin Herter, especially more reliable shots. As is, I mean, Kevin Herter is a good 3-point shooter, but this brings in a veteran who obviously can add all that experience plus a first round pick. I see the Hawks doing it. Obviously, the Spurs would love to bring in John Collins, young talent to a rebuilding team. But then the Hawks get those veterans and those role players that would certainly do well. Another pick
I just think you're like really underestimating the value of John Collins. I think he's worth a lot more than that.
See, that's like where I like could the Spurs could give up more too, but with the salary and the way it is, yeah, I guess I don't see the Hawks valuing him as much as other teams. Is the only
why should
I don't know
Hawks
why
give him up like immediately after giving him this contract for anything less than like a star caliber player or something that can get them to that.
Because John Collins is in that talent range where I don't on the
He's
market.
part of a package, though.
Yeah, you could fit him part of a package, but I mean, next to Gallinari, then suddenly like Gallinari's just salary cap. I don't. So like they would have to add in more, and I think I was looking through it, and I was like, I don't know what else the Spurs would put in more that the Hawks would want. So this is really just the Spurs' best trade for John Collins. I mean, aside from trading in guys like Keldon Johnson, who they wouldn't want to do. I was
going to say if they traded Keldon, it might be possible.
Yeah. Honestly. But then at that point, I think the Spurs are almost giving up too much. You know, a first and Keldon Johnson, who's already like comes out to a 15-point scorer. I don't think
he's good. He's good, but like it's about getting talent at other positions. And they're very, very talent heavy at the guard position right now. They don't have anybody that's even like a tweener that's talented like John Collins. So,
Podol's actually come out and he's done certainly a great job for the role he's given. I mean,
sure, but he's not John Collins.
Right. I mean, but he's also a center, and John Collins is. Yeah, John Collins would have more space than the Spurs. They could play together, but that's like the thing. Like, I don't see. So, like, if they did a Keldon Johnson for. I don't see why the Hawks would want Keldon Johnson is what I'm getting at, you know?
Because they need another guy who can defend well on the perimeter and dribble decently and get his own bucket. Like, they don't have a lot of guys that seem to be able to work within the offense outside of trade, you know?
Yeah.
Like, Capella's great.
Keldon's not that – I don't think Keldon's a better defender than John Collins. Maybe on the perimeter.
I didn't say that, but like they don't have talented perimeter defenders.
Like if I was the Hawks and they offered Keldon Johnson and pieces for John Collins, I'd be like, I already basically have the better version of Keldon Johnson. That would be a step down if I were the Hawks. But this is I just saw these two filling a need that they have. Spurs would probably have to put in a little more. I don't know what the Hawks would want back aside from another pick, and if I were the Spurs. Maybe adding another first would do it, but all the Hawks would want is to take those firsts and put them in another trade, like attached to Gallinari's. But yeah, I see your point.
Yeah, well, throw a better trade at me.
All right, this one's pretty role player like. It's pretty fringe. So the Hornets get Thomas Bryant. Wizards give up Ish Smith, Vernon Carey Jr., and Kai Jones. So this is propelled by the up and coming Daniel Gafford, right? So he's coming in. If they really think that he can be better than Thomas Bryant, obviously Harrell's doing a great job off the 6-man. Then the Wizards are like, all right, we'll move Thomas Bryant. Hornets have been dying for a comparable center for years. They'd be like, yeah, we'll take Thomas Bryant. He's a solid center. He can certainly be a starting center on a team. Not sure about a championship team, but certainly he can help them raise their ceiling. And they're just giving up two young guys in Kai Jones and Vernon Carey, who obviously are projects. The Wizards are in that fringe line. They're not ready for a rebuild, but they're ready to compete. 2 years down the road, maybe they'll be in a rebuild, just like the Magic, where they hung out in the playoffs for 3 years and now they're in a rebuild. So and then by that 3 years, Kai Jones and Vernon Carey ready to get some more playing time. Ish Smith's just to fill salary. He's going back to the Wizards. It's a salary cap filler.
I think by all accounts, for what I've been seeing out there, is that the Wizards are buyers at the moment. And barring any drastic changes before the deadline, I don't see that changing. I don't think they should give up a lot for anyone till like Beal signs an extension. But it does sound like with their position, they're 27, maybe they can, get themselves over the hump with a better player added to this roster.
Yeah, well, so it's not even like a buyer seller thing. They're gonna have to make a decision between one of those centers have to go, whether it's Harrell, Bryant,
they don't
or
have to make
Gafford.
that
None of them.
decision yet. I mean, I did see though that it seemed like Harrell might be the guy on the move.
Really, Harrell's played great for them, but I mean, Harrell's has 1 year left. Bryant has 1 year left, and Gafford. I don't know Gafford's contract, but I think this is the year, this is the season they're gonna have to make that decision. I mean, if not, they're just letting someone go, and that's not worth it.
Yeah, Gafford recently signed a 4-year, $50 million extension this last offseason.
Yeah, so they're gonna have to choose between Bryant or Harrell. Honestly, I mean, you could go either way. Like throw Harrell in here. Obviously, they would pick up more, but I don't think Harrell's a starting center on any team. He's obviously excelled in the role that the Wizards put him at as backup big. He failed with the Lakers as that, prospered greatly with the Clippers as a backup big. Harrell should be a backup big anywhere. He's going to be a 6-man candidate all the time if that's what he's doing. Starting center, it's too small. It's not worth it.
He's very talented on the offensive end. I mean, he's more of like a power forward. He's more of a 4 than he is a 5. Defending wise, that's how you determine where you are on defense, and he's garbage at defense. So I don't think it matters what you call him.
He has the hustle. He has the hustle for defense.
He has great hustle.
Not a smart defender.
No, he has great hustle. And that's what makes him as good on offense too. One of his strongest qualities is his rebounding ability. So, I mean, any team would be happy to have that on their squad. I would feel like.
Yeah, for sure.
But inevitably, I'm sure each of those 3 guys probably wants plenty of minutes. So,
yeah, they're gonna have to make a decision. And honestly, I would like at this point, I would like to see Gafford take that starting role with Harrell. With what they've been doing the last week. Thomas Bryant just came back like 6 days ago at the time of this recording. So, I mean, he's come out. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, anything can happen, man. You never know with the Wizards too. That team has been fucking chaotic ever since the dawn of time. So unpredictability is only what's predictable over there. Do you have any more trades for us, sir?
All I had.
No more trades on Trade Palooza.